President Donald Trump attends the first working session of the G7 Summit on Sunday in Biarritz, France. Jeff J. Mitchell, Pool, Getty Images G7 Summit. After a week of reversals on several policy issues, the president takes a moment at the G7 Summit to hint at a potential détente in his tariff spat. By Gabby or August 25, 2019, 7:15 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. Updated August 25, 2019, 7:32 a.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. The 25th of August 2019, T 7:32:0400 Biarritz, France. President Donald Trump on Sunday signaled he may be having regrets about his deepening trade conflict with China, telling reporters less than 48 hours after he pledged to raise tariffs on Beijing that he has second thoughts about everything. Asked during a bilateral meeting with British Prime Minister Boris Johnson if he was second-guessing his posture on China, Trump said, "Yeah, sure, why not? Might as well. Might as well." Story continued below. The comments marked the president's first public signal of regret about how he was fighting China through escalating tariffs. But about 5 hours after the president's remarks, White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham said in a statement that Trump's answer to a question about second thoughts has been greatly misinterpreted. President Trump responded in the affirmative because he regrets not raising the tariffs higher, Grisham wrote in the statement. Trump's comments came on the heels of Trump's latest escalation in his trade war with China, which sent U.S. stocks into a downward spiral on Friday. Hours before departing for France for the annual G7 Summit, the president announced in a fiery series of tweets that he plans to raise tariffs from 25% to 30% on $250 billion in Chinese goods that were already scheduled to be taxed beginning October 1, and also raise tariffs on $300 billion of other Chinese goods from 10% to 15% starting Sept. 1. That came after an announcement from China's finance ministry earlier Friday imposing new tariffs on U.S. imports starting next month in retaliation for Trump's tariff announcement earlier this month. Trump's second thoughts on China came after a week in which the president quickly flip-flopped on other policy issues including gun restrictions, new tax cuts to fight a potential recession, and purchasing Greenland from Denmark. Despite saying Sunday he regrets his administration's strained relationship with China, Trump offered few other signs that he is prepared to back away from his demands with the world's second-largest economy. He claimed the Chinese want to make a deal much more than I do, and bemoaned his predecessors for allowing Beijing to get away with taking hundreds of billions of dollars out of the U.S.
every year and putting it into China. Politico Playbook newsletter. Sign up today to receive the.
You can unsubscribe at any time. Trump also said he has not been advised by U.S. allies to end his trade war with China, even as Johnson said the United Kingdom favors trade peace on the whole, and does not like tariffs. Other European officials spent the weekend at the G7 warning that Trump's trade wars would lead to a global recession. "Nobody's told me that," Trump shot back after a reporter asked if allies were pressuring him to give up his efforts to broker a trade agreement with China. "Nobody would tell me that," he added. "I think they respect the trade war. I can't say what they've been doing to the UK and to other places, but from the standpoint of the United States, what China has done is outrageous." The president also suggested Sunday he had no plans to enforce his Friday edict on Twitter ordering U.S. companies to seek alternatives to manufacturing in China. Before his departure for France, the president invoked the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977 as his authority to force action by U.S. firms. Asked Sunday if he would do so, Trump said, "Well, I have the right to, if I want. I could declare a national emergency. But," Trump said, "I have no plan right now. Actually, we're getting along very well with China right now." We're talking. Trump and Johnson met early Sunday morning, prior to a session with leaders from the rest of the G7 countries on global economics, foreign policy and security issues. The president is scheduled to meet separately with Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau later Sunday. Prior to his breakfast with Johnson, Trump wrote on Twitter that he and his G7 counterparts are having very good meetings, and getting along very well. Trump also hinted during his meeting with Johnson that he may be nearing a trade deal with Japan, something White House officials have previously said would bolster the president's argument that his protectionist policies work. "I'm going to say presumably something will be announced after we meet with the Prime Minister of Japan," said U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, who attended the bilateral session with Johnson. This article tagged under "Missing out on the latest scoops." Sign up for Politico Playbook and get the latest news every morning in your inbox. Show comments. Let's block ads. Why?